Really excited about this. Hey, what's up all you Tapaholics? This is Paul here, aka Paulabusa, back with another video where we do yet another product review of the products we buy from Taobao every single week. So if you're new here, please do consider subscribing. In the age of global warming and dying polar bears, and we Singaporeans, as one of the most caring people of the world, seek to sort out various alternatives compared to the petrol-powered vehicles. So, with that, we've seen the vast adoption of many alternative forms of transportation, including the electronic bicycles, unicycles, mini segways, and electronic scooters. No, not really. You see, it's just that because the cost of car ownership is so expensive in Singapore, we seek out alternative vehicles. See, before you can own a car in Singapore, the cost of the car aside, you have first got to purchase a little piece of paper which we call the Certificate of Entitlement. And this little piece of paper, which costs $50,000 to $60,000, will entitle you to drive a car. However, it will expire in the next 10 years. That aside, there is also rising parking costs in Singapore, which we've seen in 2016. And that brings up the cost a lot, to own and drive in Singapore. And that's why we seek out alternative transportation. And for a small island like Singapore, last mile vehicles works best because we don't have a long distance to cover. And even I have jumped onto the bandwagon and purchased one of these cheap electric scooters from Taobao. Now you see, the thing with the last mile vehicle is that it is meant to bring you to your closest transportation network, like the bus terminal or the train station. Or it is also supposed to bring you from the transportation network to your final destination. So it has got to be portable and reliable. As you can see here from the way the scooter fills up the frame, it is not very portable. So it really affects the usability. So I went ahead and bought myself a new last mile vehicle, which is much more portable. And here it is, guys, an electric skateboard. I got hooked on Casey Neistat early part of last year. Of course, now he has ended the vlog. But I've always thought that the electric skateboard looks very cool and it looks very portable as a form of commute. I can't afford the booster board, it costs like what, $1,200 US? So I got this one from Taobao. It cost me about 400 Sing, which is about $270 in US. Why I selected this was it's a longboard format. It's not like a mini skateboard. Those are unstable for first-time users like me. And bear in mind, I do not have any skateboard experience at all. Enough talking, let's open this up. I am really excited about this. I must say, they really got the packaging done up really well in a compact manner, and this is how it looks like. So first thing you're greeted with is the warranty card, and the brand is called EHO. And they even throw in protective guards for you, in case you're learning. Just like me, I'm a beginner, I have no skateboard experience. Thank you, seller. We've got a power cable and the power brick over here, which is quite a large power brick. We've got the remote here, and we've got an adjustment tool here, which allows you to fix the wheels and the bushings when the time comes. Nice touch. They really included the majority of the accessories that you need, to maintain the skateboard. Closer look at the remote here. We've got an on-off switch by the sides, as well as the throttle lever here, speed up and brake. Right by the side, I believe it's forward direction and reverse direction. It's powered by two AAA batteries. It's kind of a bummer though that it uses AAA. I would have preferred that it's a chargeable remote instead of me buying AAA all the time. And here we've got the standard manual in Chinese. So the board actually weighs about 6.5 kilograms and it has a top speed of 28 kilometers per hour. The wheels itself is 90 mm, so you can get some good traction with a large wheel. And this is the motor that powers the skateboard itself. It's a single drive, driving a single wheel with the motor, and the deck itself, it's got anti-slip pads all across the board. There are no fancy apps on your phone for this skateboard like the booster boards, you know, where you can track how the distance and the different modes that you are at, you know, beginner, pro. There is only one mode for this. I think there's nothing much left to say than to take this out and try it out for myself. Spending the first few days getting comfortable with the board and learning the basics of skateboarding, I quickly realized that there is a few problems with the board straight away. For example, the acceleration and braking is a bit harsh, and you have to learn to be a bit gentle on the throttle as you take off. It is almost like driving a car and finding that half clutch biting point where you start to move off. This is the similar case. Get used to it before you go full throttle. Braking is like sliding to a stop, and you really have to lean back to counter the centrifugal force from pushing you off the board. However, that is no issue at all. Once you practice more and more, you would be able to get the hang of braking on the board once you learn how to balance your weight. The ride quality is okay, but not the best, so you should always keep your knees slightly bent. However, this can be improved if you change the grip tape on the back itself for a more spongy one to absorb more of the shock coming from the ground. Now, we all know that manufacturers these days tend to overstate their specs on paper, and this is the case as well. However, this may not be a bad thing. On paper, this thing goes to 28 kilometers per hour, but testing it in real life on my accelerometer on my phone, I only managed to clock about 23 to 24 kilometers per hour. This may not be a bad thing because this absolutely makes it LTA compliant and completely legal in Singapore. Powering this skateboard, it's a single drive 1500 watt motor. Some may be concerned with the torque it gives. Some may be concerned whether this has enough power to bring you up a slope. But this has no issue at all because I've tested it on steep slopes and it has no issues going up the slopes at all. To be honest, for $400, I'm even surprised that it came with a belt protector. On the $1,200 booster board, you don't even get a belt protector, and this is very important. It protects it from the stones that are hitting your belt when you go along the streets. If you look at the scratches that is already on my board, you would realize that thank God there is a belt protector. Now, coming to the most important part of this review, is this skateboard feasible for day-to-day use? And I'm glad to report the answer is yes. Now, to me, speed is absolutely nothing compared to the range of the electric skateboard. There is no point you giving me 32 kilometers per hour only to last me for 7 miles, which is about 10 clicks, and that absolutely destroys the usability of a skateboard where you have to charge all the time and it can't get you to places where you want to go to. That's why the range is most important. Now, this is where it gets interesting. On paper, the board advertises a range of 16 kilometers on a single charge, but I have gotten it to a whooping distance of 25 kilometers before it flats out. Now, bear in mind, I'm a lightweighted guy, so your mileage may vary. Just to give you a bit of context, this is a map of Singapore, and with that range, it could get you from the top to the middle of Singapore and back on a single charge. If you're just going one way, it can last you from the top all the way to city central on a single charge. The range is absolutely amazing compared to the booster board, which only gives you about 7 miles, which is about 10 kilometers. It absolutely smashes the range and wins on this front. Now let's go to the design and build. Is it portable? Is it feasible? And the answer is again yes on this one. It is absolutely portable at 6.5 kilograms and very light. Now a lot of people are banked on the weight of the board itself because you're thinking about carrying it, missing the fact that actually this board is a long board at 94 centimeters. You can actually drag it around like a trolley, and in doing so, if you lift the power on, you are also charging the board itself while you're dragging the board on your daily commute. And on this point, it also shows that the board has regenerative braking, and when you are not accelerating on your remote and slowing down, just rolling, you are charging up the board itself to make it last longer. And that's an absolutely brilliant feature to have. I didn't expect the board to have this because of its cheap price, but it does. Now, like I said, the board does have its downside. For example, it doesn't have a bag that came along with it, so I may get an aftermarket bag in the future. Secondly, it doesn't have a battery indicator, so you do not know how much juice is left on the board. Where other boards feature a battery indicator, they know when they're gonna run out. You do not know when you're gonna run out of juice on this board. The same goes for the remote. There is no battery indicator and it might go out. But the good thing is I've tested this for about 150 kilometers on 2 AAA batteries and it is still going well. One typical problem that I hear from other electronic skateboard users is that the remote tends to lose connection with their boards and they are not able to control the board and use the board. I have no issues with the remote at all. In my 2 months of testing this product, I have not had one instance where the remote lost connection with the board. It is absolutely 100% reliable. A lot of people would also say that this board doesn't come with an accompanying app like the boosted board. However, I find that feature a bit redundant. You don't have to give me different modes, beginner, eco mode or a pro mode. You just give me your recommended specs. I don't need an app to give me all these different modes or give me an odometer to tell me how far I've gone. That's actually a good to have, but not a need to have. So I'm fine with that. Now you have really got to be gentle on the throttle because it only has one mode, and because it works on a spring-loaded lever, you have really got to be gentle to ensure you have a smooth pickup. The other flop that I find with the board is that the turning radius is a bit wide. It doesn't have a bamboo deck like the boosted board, which gives it a slightly narrower turning radius, as I shall now demonstrate by trying to turn around the center circle in a basketball court. However, this can be overcome by adopting the racing line that we use in driving. You have to do a wide turn into the apex of the turn and accelerate out normally, and this should navigate you around most of the corners that you encounter. Now with that, guys, I would say for $400, this skateboard has been absolutely wonderful. It brings me from point to point without any reliability issues. The only thing that hurts me the most is the turning radius, which I've learned more and more to counter this with my line as well as carving. But for the price and the things you're getting on this board, like the regenerative braking and the long range that you're getting, it is absolutely value for money. So I definitely recommend this product for all of you guys. Get this one, definitely one of my favorite purchase. I'm having a whole lot of fun with this board every single day. And with that, guys, we've come to the end of the video. I hope you guys like this. Do remember to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. This is Paul here, signing off. Ciao.